Welcome back for the Crazies Part 2.
Yeah, how crazy can you get?
I think we've gotten crazy enough.
Yeah.
I'm ready to put these down for a while after this. But, yeah, Crazies 2010, the remake, all the crazy, none of the political commentary. Or at least less of it. We'll say less.
Give this movie some credit. I mean...
Right. It's a little brave.
A little.
It's a little brave, but it's also a little easier to take than its forebearer. Forebearer? Is that the right word? Than the original. So it's a little more watchable, partially thanks to that Timothy Oliphant.
Okay.
Let me try that again. Am I right? That was good.
No.
Not an attractive guy?
You're
crazy. All right. Trixie meets water. Water meets mouths. All right, go.
No, continue.
I'm not going to do it.
Please.
No.
The people love it.
They do.
We need more views.
We'll get back to it on a movie that's not so complicated.
Crack of the bat, literally. It's opening day of baseball season for a high school in a small Midwestern town. Everyone has baseball fever, but one guy has it a little too bad, and his name is Rory.
Yeah, Rory wanders out onto right field with a loaded shotgun. It's a great start to a movie. It really gets your attention, though, right? And it gets the attention of the town's sheriff, David, Timothy Oliphant.
Okay.
And he tries to talk him down, but then has to shoot him. And shoot him dead, he does.
And so David assumes that Rory was drunk, but Rory's wife says that he stopped drinking a while ago. And she, along with her son, are not that happy with David, even though David really didn't have that much of a choice in the situation. I mean, if he didn't shoot Rory, he would have...
Probably would have done a lot of damage.
Yeah, he would have killed the kids, probably.
Yeah. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Rory's
they are
wife
not happy with him.
And son not happy with David. Might come into play later. Then another couple of town's residents are acting really weird. One of them, in keeping with the original version, he sets fire to his house and kills his family, but doesn't seem to comprehend at all what he's done. David and his deputy, Russell Clank, they figure out that there's something in the water because they find a plane that has crashed in a nearby lake swamp that feeds into the town's supply. And in a needlessly shameless rip-off Jaws nod scene, David tries to bring this up to the town's mayor, who dismisses him, saying that, well, the harvest is coming. If you turn off the water, the whole economy of the town is killed. Did you get that as a Jaws homage?
Yeah. When Chief Brody is
goes
trying
to the mayor,
convince...
Vaughn.
Yeah, he's trying to convince him, like, there's something in that water. Like,
this is a summer town. We need summer dollars.
Yeah, well, you also need a town to pay summer dollars and eat the harvest. Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, when David is trying to convince him, the mayor has just gotten out of his pool, which is in the middle of, like, a cornfield.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But David disobeys and shuts down the water supply anyway.
Then he responds to a call from the local morgue, which is where David finds the funeral director still alive but prepped for death with his eyes and mouth sewn shut. But he is trying to say something. I love that scene.
It's a creepy scene.
Yeah. So David cuts open the stitches sealing his mouth and he says, "Behind you."
Yeah.
This gives David like a 1-second heads up that the mortician is about to slice him open with a bone saw.
Yeah, that's a good scene. Then the entire town goes dark. No hard phone lines, no cell phones, no contact with anyone outside the perimeter, and strange black vans that take off as soon as David tries to approach them. So the military is moving in very quickly and shuts the town down, but nobody knows why.
David and Judy, his wife, get separated. Judy's temperature is higher than normal, so they think that she's infected, but she's just pregnant.
Yeah, so when you're pregnant, your normal body temperature rises a little bit. Doesn't mean you got the crazies.
Yeah, so David breaks away from the group of people he's being herded along with, the supposedly safe people,
And they even get cool little wristbands to show, hey, nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, and he's going to try to rescue Judy.
Good for him. But unfortunately, Judy is strapped to a gurney and being wheeled into the high school, which is now the quarantine zone. And she's wheeled right next to another character, Becca, who's also, we met her before because she's Judy's assistant at the doctor's office. And David arrives just in time to save them both from a pitchfork-wielding school principal, Ben, who is infected himself and killing off all of his fellow crazies at the school.
But maybe in a gesture of kindness, almost. It's almost like he wants to put people out of their misery before they
talked about this.
Turn like he has.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a cool way to think about it. The movie could have done a better job at clarifying that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, we just like to think that maybe that was a possible reason for the pitchforking when we were watching it. But yeah, it's not really set up that way. But it could be. It's fun to, kind of interesting to think about that.
So now David and Judy and Becca and Russell, the deputy, are on the run trying to get out
I like
of
that
town.
actor, by the way. I think he did a good job.
Mm-hmm. They go back to David and Judy's house to get a car. But hey, remember Rory? The guy who David shot on the baseball field?
Yeah. Vaguely.
Remember his wife and son?
Yeah.
Well, they're also at the house waiting to settle their score with David.
Well,
and they are full-blown crazed out. No spoilers, but this is maybe the best scene in the movie.
Is this your favorite scene in the movie?
Yeah. So they
up
managed to escape with a lot of help from Russell, who is unfortunately seeming to become a little unhinged, to put it gently.
Will they all make it to safety?
No.
I was trying to build up the drama here. Will someone from the group get killed in another cool scene in a car wash?
Mm-hmm.
Is the ending more upbeat than the original ending?
Kinda.
Do we have a trailer to listen to?
I think so. Here it is. Have a great time listening to that.
I don't care what the calendar says. Opening day. That's the first day of spring. Sir. Whoa. What the hell are you doing? Rory, you lay that gun down.
You did the right thing. Would you mind taking a look at Bill?
Sure, what's wrong?
I don't know. He's just not right.
She worries too much. I'm fine.
You got any plans this weekend?
She worries too much. I'm fine. Hey, Ben.
What's Dad doing? He has a knife.
How long has he been playing statue?
Couple hours now. Same look Rory gave me.
All things wise and wonderful.
We're in trouble.
Is he dead?
David, there's somebody outside.
Military started shooting town folk.
We gotta get out of here, guys!
My favorite song.
All around me are familiar faces. No expression. And I find it kind of funny.
He's got it.
You don't know that.
It's okay, I'm not sick!
Dreams in which I'm dying.
Oh my God.
Best I've
Okay.
No, I want to keep listening to that song.
I know. You like that
Just play that song.
Gary Jules version. Mm-hmm. I played you the Tears for Fears version.
Yeah, it's like, all around me are familiar
You're like,
faces.
Jeers for Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
Recommended age, what would you give this? How old does a kid have to be to watch the Crazies 2010?
I'm going to go 12 and a half.
It's violent, but it's not as vicious and glum and depressing as the original. I'll go 11 and a half. I'm taking it down a little more than a full year from the 12 and 3/4 that we recommended kids should be to watch the original.
12.
I'm okay with that. Here, let me write that down. And
Go watch.
Yeah.
welcome back.
Yeah, let's dive deep.
Yeah. Hope you watched it. Hope you liked it.
And I have to say, from the watchability standpoint factor, this is the superior of the two movies for me. So
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with you.
How come?
Because it's well cast.
Yeah.
Like
it's
it
well
has a
acted,
good cast.
right?
Oh yeah. Much better acting.
And you just tend to care a little bit more about the main characters because
like
you get to
Becca.
spend more time with the main characters. You're not bouncing back between them and the army set up in the town and the military and the government stuff. I liked that stuff in the original, but it takes a layer of connection away from Judy and David and Clank.
Yeah. And in this one, when like you don't really see what's really going on, you don't see
From the army side?
from the army side, it makes what's going on more of a mystery almost.
Yeah,
because you aren't seeing the military trying to set up their whole operation.
You don't get that whole backstory. True. But that's the exact thing, actually, that makes this movie ultimately not as good a film as the original for me in terms of its overall impact. But we'll get there eventually. One-word review. What are you going with?
So I went with chaotic.
Ooh, good. How come?
For starters, the beginning of the film.
What happens in the beginning again?
Remember?
Oh, yeah. Talk about that.
You just see the town in like shambles, right?
Yeah. You see what's left of the town.
Yeah, and it's just like, so you're just left wondering in the beginning, wait, how did this happen?
Right. And then it goes 2 days before.
Yes.
So you see what happened before you see how it happens.
And it's paced fastly because like
Yeah.
you get that scene, then you get the other scene, and you're like, whoa.
It's horror, but it feels like almost like an action film sometimes because they're really exciting sequences.
Yeah. And also, you get the army fighting against the people fighting against the army, and the people are wondering what is going on because the army hasn't told the people what is going on. They haven't told them.
Chaotic, I like that. My one-word review is solid.
Solid? Why?
Because it does the job, and it improves on the original in some ways. Like you said, it's well-paced, it's well-acted, you care about the characters. Very slick-looking. It's shot really well. And it has a lot of memorable sequences and set pieces. So these are all improvements. But it doesn't go for the jugular as much. And it doesn't quite stay with you as much or as deeply as the original. At least not for me. But let's talk pluses. Give me your pluses. What'd you like? Other than Timothy Olyphant. Man, you've been going on and on about that guy.
You have, actually.
You're like, can I watch Deadwood? I'm like, no, you can't watch Deadwood.
You've watched it.
It's great. It's one of the greatest TV shows ever.
So I like the beginning where Rory gets shot on the field. And the scene in the swamp where they find the plane.
Yeah.
It connects to like what started to happen with exactly what's starting to go wrong now.
Yeah, and you really needed a scene like that in the original, but they didn't have the budget. I liked the morgue scene where the funeral home director's mouth is cut open to warn David about the approaching bone saw. Horrifying and gross.
I loved it.
So that's a plus for me.
So this is a plus for both of us. Right?
Okay. I don't know what you're going to say.
Rory's wife and son.
Oh, at the house.
Showdown? Yes.
Yeah, with the knife. That knife kill is stupendous.
Oh my god. Spectacular. Amazing.
I liked the car wash scene. It's clever. I can't think of another horror film that has a car wash scene. And then when their car gets blown up after they thought they were finally safe, that was surprising. So yeah, a lot of this works really, really well. I liked that the army was trying to eradicate the virus. Like it was on the plane going to a place where it was going to be incinerated when the plane went down. And that was a little bit of an irony in this one.
Yeah. And Russell and David squaring off. Was it in the field?
They squared off there too, but then they square off when they're walking on the road. And he's like, you walk ahead of me where I can see you. And then David and Judy are trying to come up with a plan. And he turns around and he's just, I just want to talk. Just want to talk.
And then Russell gives the countdown 1. And he points the gun up and he goes 1, 2, 3. And you think he's counting down to when he's going to pull the trigger on David. But he says, that's how many times I've saved your life.
Yeah. I liked their whole dynamic. And then when Russell is realizing that he's really infected and he says, he's like, I got it, don't I? And then he says, "Can I just walk with you guys just a little longer?" And then he goes, "Please." I loved that. And his sacrifice is good too, just like in the first one. Let's talk minuses. What didn't you like? So I already mentioned I like how in the original, how you see the futility of the situation, the ineptitude of the military, and how nobody knows what they're doing here. But sir, you didn't dig this movie that much. I think I like this movie a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
And I think we had just watched 2 hours of the same sort of depressing story, and now we're doing it again.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh.
And it looks glossier, and it feels different because it's Hollywoodized, but it's still the same essence, which is scary and a little bit of a bummer to think about.
Yeah.
So maybe if we had watched this first and the original second, we would have zipped through this one, and then it would have started feeling more labored trying to get through the second.
Didn't we watch the trailer for this one first?
Probably, because I don't think they had a trailer for the original Crazies.
Yeah, and
available.
I remember saying, this one seems better than that one.
Yeah. You saw the trailer and you were like, that looks good. And I was like, no, but we got to watch the first one first.
And we were talking after it ended, and we both thought that the end, it wasn't great.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was, because it left you with a little more hope than the original.
Yeah, it wasn't as bleak.
Yeah. But what was the word you said?
When we were talking about the ending?
Yeah.
It's anticlimactic.
Yes.
Because in the third act, so that last chunk of the movie, you got a great scene and 2 really good scenes. So the scene where they go back to the house and the mom and the son, the first guy attacks them, great.
Yep. That was really good. And then the car wash scene was good, even though that's where we lose Becca.
Cool death, but sad. But yeah, good scene. And then Russell realizing that he's infected and sacrificing himself. But so all good stuff, and we're building tension, and we're ratcheting up the story. But then you get to that strip mall that's abandoned, but the happy little announcements are still playing for the shoppers that aren't there. And it seems like it's going to be good. And you find all those bodies piled up in the restaurant freezer.
And in the trucks.
Yeah, which seems like it's going to pay off in a big way and keep the momentum flowing, but it didn't for me.
I agree. It needed like one more really memorable part because it lost me.
Yeah, or even just another really clever kill would have done it. But yeah, it fell a little flat. But overall, I liked this more than you did, I think. And I did like how they made the point of the turned townsfolk being just as bloodthirsty as the government. I think that was done well towards the end.
Yeah, but if the townsfolk were full on crazy, how are they sane enough to be working with each other to kill people with machine guns and...
Yeah. They almost form like their own infected, crazy militia.
They seem to be pretty organized.
Yes.
Like this union, and they're killing and
stacking people like sandwiches. I know, like, if their brains are infected and not working, how have they organized themselves into this highly effective killing squad? And I think that crazy that David kills in the mechanics pit under the truck, remember that? I think he was one of the townspeople from earlier when they find the plane in the swamp. So we kind of have that setup of these guys who start out the movie pretty angry and aggressive towards authority even before they're infected. So that's a nice kind of callback.
All right. Coolest kill?
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am too.
Cool.
3, 2. I thought you said you were ready for this.
Coolest kill. 3, 2, 1.
Rory, the
wife.
baseball fan who comes onto the Rory's wife. Or let me go first because mine happens first. I picked Rory because it's such a strong hook into the story. The opening day, small town, baseball, crack of the bat, like you were saying, and then something immediately leaks in that's just insidious, and it tells you everything that's about to happen in this one little glimpse through this one guy. And it tells you all the human drama that's about to happen. It tells you the virus drama and the effect it has. And it just starts you out so strong. So strong they put it right front and center in the trailer. It builds tension. David tries to talk to him. He's trying to find out what's wrong. He's trying to connect with him. And then he has to do what he has to do.
Yeah, because he tries to shoot him.
Yeah, he raises the gun.
Or did he? And like that little head cock he gives him, he's like...
It's great. It's my coolest kill.
Yeah, I do agree with you. That was a pretty cool kill, but I just...
And I agree with you, too, that your pick is
There's
great.
some really cool kills in it. But I did Roy's wife because, I don't know, just that knife stabbed in his hand, pulls it up out of the ground, and stabs her in her throat.
And then just twists it a little bit.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
And it really gave me chills.
And there's almost a moment after the knife's in her throat that she's looking at him where you're like, does she have a glimpse of recognition back to who she was before this took over? Because you almost feel a teensy bit bad for her.
Yeah, because you see her face. And
it's well acted.
And that little.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good.
So,
I do want to honorable mention Clank.
Yeah.
Because he sacrifices himself, like we said, to give David and Judy some time. And the difference between this one and the original is Clank in the original, he just goes full out and starts shooting the guys in the suits.
And then in this one, he takes out the bullets of his gun so he doesn't hurt anyone. Because he's like, I know I've got it. And he just doesn't want to get fully out of control. And he just goes up to them. And you hear it in the trailer. He goes, it's okay, I don't have it. It's okay, I'm not sick.
And then you don't see him die.
Yeah.
You hear the shot off screen when it's focused on David and Judy, and they turn around and give him a little moment. But yeah, the same character, two different movies, two different approaches to their death scenes. Both good.
Sorry, I just really want to say something about Clank. But in this one...
This Clank or the original
This
Clank?
This one. I think this one just felt really bad for those people, too, because they were like, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like, they're just trying to make sure this virus doesn't get out of hand.
I love that he takes the bullets out of his gun.
It's
a really nice touch.
And it really
gives him that last little thread of humanity.
So, those were our coolest kills.
Let's go to SGS moments. Serling got scared. There were a couple here. And I think they were hand moments.
Hand moments?
Yeah, there were a lot of hand moments in this movie. One's going to come up in the FFF, Fight, Flight, Freeze. But take us through your SGS moments. When did you get scared?
When Judy is hiding in the fridge with the piles of corpses.
So towards the end, right?
Yeah, and the hand clamps over her mouth. I jumped, but because I thought it was the guy that was laying behind her.
The last dead body you saw right before as it's panning towards her.
But it was David, and I was like, I thought, Yeah,
and then
after David fights off the crazy dude in the pit under the truck.
Yeah, the mechanic's pit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a hand reaches down towards him, and it's Judy. So, two hand moments that turned out to be safe hands. Crazy as a Crazy as
crazy does. Life is like a box of crazies.
And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of this.
What's everybody? Oh, the end?
Flight, freeze.
Oh, yes.
Oh, who will fight? Who'll be given a flight? And who's just probably gonna freeze?
Hey, by the way, if you want a copy of that jingle, I'll burn it on a CD for you.
Really?
I get royalties, but I get $5 a pop. And it makes a perfect gift for the holidays, which are coming up. So what do you got for fight? So fight, flight, freeze, the three reactions that we have when we're threatened or scared. The ultimate fight was David in the back of the house and attacked by Rory's wife and son.
Awesome fight scene.
Yeah.
So while David is being choked by the son and trying to reach for his gun that's skidded away from him out on the floor, he's stabbed through the hand by the mom.
You really feel it, too.
Yeah.
But then you feel it even more.
Yeah, then he slides his hand up the blade to pull it out of the floor and jams it into her neck. And it's still in his hand!
It's really good. Flight, we got the four central characters who flee the quarantine zone, and then David and Judy flee in the truck at the end to get enough in front of the nuclear blast. That was pretty cool.
Freeze.
And then Becca flies out of the back seat in the car wash scene. Don't look at me like that. It was a pretty cool kill.
Remind
and she
me.
probably had the crazies.
Remind me to get adopted by someone. Okay.
Okay. I'm writing myself a little note. Dear Santa, please find Serling a good home. Got it.
What?
Nothing. We're doing tomato.
No.
No. Do you have a Serling spotlight?
Yes.
You do?
I did some facts on Brett Eisner,
Who's he?
the director.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about him.
He's an interesting guy. So,
She said as she stifled a yawn.
I was tired.
You had a big night last night. You had a huge 2-show run in Newsies. But tell us about Brett Eisner.
Dad, you're gonna like these.
Oh, good.
So this was his second feature film and obviously a remake. Before this, he was set to direct a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon. Stay
No
tuned,
way!
everybody out there. And before that, he directed a remake of The Invisible Man for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
After-
So 3 remakes.
Yeah. And after The Crazies, he was tapped to direct remakes of, get ready,
Okay.
Flash Gordon,
No. Wow, we love Flash Gordon.
The Brood,
Oh my God!
and Escape from New York.
What?
Yep.
That's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, this guy
That-
would be like the remake king.
I know. Well, they've been talking about doing an Escape from New York remake for decades now. And I know The Rock was going to do it for a while. Dwayne Johnson was going to do it for a while. And John Carpenter was going to do a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon for a little while. So, wow, that's really cool. But he didn't do any of them.
Yeah. I do like that he tried to be true to life when it came to the makeup effects.
In this movie?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he wanted it to have some basis in reality. So they based up the makeup on what it would look like to have rabies,
Cujo.
tetanus,
Yeah. Tetanus.
and something called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is a terrible skin reaction or disease.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool. Nice spotlight. I would like to see anybody do a remake of Escape from New York. Oh,
I'd like
or
to
do
see
I?
anybody do a remake of Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Try to find someone to play Ming.
The problem is, it's exciting to think about remakes of your favorite film, but then, like, they're your favorite films for a reason. So if they start fiddling around with them, you might get more annoyed than excited by the end result. But I don't know. Tomato. What do you think this got?
72.
This got 71.
just
So
one off.
that puts us on the same wavelength as the live-action Little Mermaid,
What? No.
live-action Beauty and the Beast,
Disney!
Sing. I didn't love those movies. I watched
No,
them at least
no,
once with you because I'm a decent dad, right? But ugh, Sing. The Amazing
Sing should be
Spider-Man, which we've never watched. And I kind of like that guy, Andrew Garfield, who played him for a while. Also 71 is Gremlins 2. Finally, one of our very favorites. And are you ready to play Guess That Tomato movie game?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a new game we're going to try. And you can play this along at home, too. This movie has Steven Spielberg in an acting role. So this is a movie that has 71%, just like the Crazies remake.
Birds.
Wrong. That should give it away right here. Steven Spielberg in an acting role, not directing. This movie also has Princess Leia.
What's the name of it?
Don't say Star Wars. 'Cause that would be very obvious.
Shut up.
This movie also has John Lee Hooker,
What?
Tom Bones Malone, Pee Wee Herman, Joe Walsh, James Brown, Ray Stantz.
The Blues Brothers.
Yes, my God. I was going to say.
I thought it was a horror
The only
film.
ones I
No,
have.
Dad, I thought it was a horror.
No, it's just, it can be any movie.
Oh!
The only clues I didn't get to give you, because you guessed it right before, I was going to say John Candy and Orange Whips. You would have gotten it from that.
I would have said, Blues Brothers!
Okay, so that was fun. Maybe we just stumbled on to a new feature for the cast. We'll see. Blues Brothers or this? Which was a better movie?
Blues Brothers.
Obviously. One higher or one lower than this? You want to go now on Rotten Tomatoes?
Lower.
Minions: Rise of Gru.
That should be lower.
It is lower.
No, I
but it should be
mean-
way lower.
Yeah. It should be like in the ones.
70%
Negatives.
also Soylent Green. You know what that's made of, right?
Cocaine.
Stop
I
saying
think
that.
I said that last
You
time.
did. I'm going to keep asking you what it's made of until
And
we
I'm
actually
gonna keep
watch it.
saying cocaine.
One higher than this, 72%, Jurassic World, Legally Blonde, Sing 2. Have I talked about how I feel about those movies? Can't remember.
Yes.
Dodgeball.
Yeah, that should be higher.
It is higher. Iron Man 2, which we have never seen, and you love RDJ. Bondometer.
So this is a Never Say Never Again, 71.
Which you've never
And-
seen.
Yeah. Between a For Your Eyes Only,
I like
one of
that
your
one.
favorites, Dad,
Yeah.
and a 73, Living Daylights.
Which you've also never seen all the way through. So, yeah, another 3 Bondometer. Connery, Moore, and Dalton. Cool. Fearometer, what are you going to give this?
5.
I'm going to give it a 4. A solid Fearometer rating. How about the Funometer?
2.
Wow.
No, actually, 4. 4.
I give it a 6 because I think it's a fun watch. I think it's a watchable movie with a bummer subject matter, but it's fun to watch. It's well done. Impactometer. I gave this a 3 because I have to say the original left a more tangible trail in my brain. It stays in my head more. What do you give it?
6.5.
Wow. Yeah, and tell them why. You had a Crazies related nightmare. Tell us about it. Because this is the first movie that we've watched on the podcast that has inspired a nightmare. So let's do a new segment. I prepared for this.
Welcome to my nightmare.
What the hell was that?
Your nightmare. So tell us about it. First of all, I'm sorry you had a nightmare. But second, I'm a little excited to hear about it.
All right, so I was with one of my friends named Ruby, and her house was a big house. Big
Okay.
house, but it was a bouncy house. It was
Okay.
like an inflatable house. And
Sounds fun.
we
So there was a happy part of the dream.
then we heard pow. And we looked outside and there were like nuclear bombs dropping on the people's
Oh.
houses. And like there were bombs on the streets and there were kids crying, kids screaming, blood
All
staining.
right, you don't have to take us there.
And it got Ruby's house.
But because it was a bouncy house, it just bounced
No,
down
it
the street?
destroyed it. It destroyed it. And there was just like this laid out bouncy house.
A deflated bouncy
Yeah, and
house.
I was like,
Damn it! I was playing with that!
yeah, you jerk!
Shaking your fist at the
There was
plane
good
going
food in
overhead.
there.
Well, that's a terrifying nightmare. But yeah, it's scarier when the evil isn't just confined to one character like a Michael or a stupid Chucky. It's when the people, like the government, the people who are making the big decisions for us, the military, like our neighbors, when we're scared of our neighbors.
Yeah, and like everything surrounding us in our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Our water.
Yes. Can't drink our water because it's infected. So the big question is this a better remake or a better original? Because we do that with The Blob and we did it with
Yeah.
13 Ghosts.
I think it's better than the original.
Okay. So if you had the choice to watch the original or this again, you would go with this.
Mhm.
I think I'm with you on that. Well, I'm glad we did this. It was a little painful, but a good lesson in social paranoia, horror, and how it evolved or at least changed in the almost 40 years, 40 years that separated these films. The lesson? You can't hit your themes quite as hard in the modern era, and certainly you can't make terribly strong messages when your film is being backed by a big studio, I guess. Romero typically went the independent route, so he was able to have more control and realize his vision. And he directed Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, so those are probably going to be coming up, so we'll see and hear more from George Romero. But
Next time on DDSH, DD Spot, a classic creature design, some classic music, a beautiful underwater dance, and fun is coming back to the podcast.
yes,
Good stuff coming your way. Join us.
yes.
Roku.
Yeah, that's more of a note for next time. Are you still recording?